Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to Breslov Research Institute web seminar. This week is Parshat Re'eh. Re'eh means sea. And the Parsha starts off, Re'eh Onochi Nosein Lifnechem Hayom Bracha Uklala. See today that I, Hashem, am giving you blessing and curses. Okay? Es habracha, the blessing, asher tishma'un es mitzvos el mitzvos Hashem Elokeichem. When you will listen to the mitzvos of Hashem, the blessing you will get when you listen to the mitzvos. V'haklolo, the curse, im lo tishmu, if you don't listen to Hashem. Hashem then gave Moshe Rabbeinu signs. Where are you supposed to give these blessings? The blessing on Gerizim and the curses on Eval. Later on, in a few weeks, we have Parshas Kisovai just before Rosh Hashanah, and there it tells us the tribes were divided into into two groups of six. 6 went up on Gerizim, and 6 stood on Eval. And Moshe Rabbeinu was already passed away. Yehoshua, with the Kohanim, stood in between these two tribes, and they were given the blessings. The blessing said, "Blessed is the person that observes Torah. Cursed is someone who doesn't observe Torah. One who is negligent with honoring his parents, that's a curse. A blessing is those who are positive about honoring their parents, and so on and so forth." In our parsha, these two mountains are near Shechem, near Nablus, a city which is known for its difficulty. Shechem is the place from where the brothers sold Yosef into slavery. It was the first real split in the Jewish nation. Shechem, later on, when the kingdom of King Solomon was divided, so the Jews went to Shechem to appoint Yerovam ben Nevat as the king. So Shechem has its history of divisiveness, of difficulties and problems among the Jewish nation. And therefore, the Jews had to stand near Shechem, because that's where the ultimate salvation lies if we learn to get rid of this divisiveness. So what we had was, we have the two mountains. Gerizim is the mountain of blessing, and Eval is the mountain of curse. I was fortunate many years ago to be there. Very difficult to travel to Shechem now, because if an Arab sees you, he kills you, or he attacks you, throws stones, shoots you, knives you, whatever. That's the Arab nature. And that's why Shechem is always in the news. Hebron too, by the way. But anyway, Gerizim has trees all over it. It's an amazing sight. Directly opposite stands Eval. There's no vegetation on the mountain. Right? The blessing and the curse. But let's get back to our parsha. Hashem says, "See, I am giving to you the blessing and the curse." The blessing is that you should listen to the mitzvahs, and the commentaries explain listening to the mitzvahs is the actual blessing. The blessing from Hashem is we have to live in this world, right? If we aren't connected to Torah, then we live like every other person on the world. There are many people, many nations. There's China, India, that's a couple of billion people right away. Then you have continent of Africa, you have Europe with all its problems and difficulties. North and South America, it's a world. People get up in the morning, they work like dogs, they come home at night, they go to sleep, they get up the next morning. That's one way of living. That's what people do. There's another way of living when we can immerse ourselves in the mitzvahs of Hashem. That is the blessing. So the pasuk says, the verse says, Habracha, es habracha, im tishma'u al mitzvahs Hashem, you listen to the mitzvahs of Hashem. Viha klala, and the curse, if you don't listen. If you don't, you're cursed, because then you live like everybody else on the planet. You don't get the chance to recognize and experience Hashem, the goodness that is Hashem, the fineness that is Hashem, the happiness that you could find with Hashem. We're always looking for happiness, we're always looking for livelihood, but we get so immersed into it, into the materialistic end of it, we forget the spiritual end of it. Furthermore, the commentaries explain, or they ask really, how could you really say Hashem is giving you a curse? How could you really do that? Re'eh, see that I'm giving you today a blessing and a curse. How can I give you a curse? How can Hashem give us a curse, really? Right? And they answer it. Take a look at the letters. And for this, you're going to have to look in the Chumash and in the Siddur, that in the morning, before the daily blessings, you didn't make me a goy, you didn't make me a slave, and so on. Before that, there's a Mishnah that's brought, that these are the things that a person does in this world, and the principle of the mitzvahs, he can eat from the interest that comes because he did the mitzvahs, but the principle always remains solid until the next world, until after 120 years, when a person goes to Gan Eden, a person goes to paradise, the world to come. So take a look at the letters. See that I am giving you today a blessing and a curse. Uklala, and the curse, is spelled Vav, Kuf, Lamed, Hey, Uklala. That's the way it's spelled. The commentaries explain, you take a look at it, and you take a look at that Mishnah, Elu Dvorim Sh'odam Oisa V'Keren Kayemes Loi Li'olam Haba, and the principle is left for you, the world to come. Uklala, Vav is V, HaKeren, and the principle. Klala is a Kuf, right? The next letter is Kuf, so that's Kayemes. Then two Lamets, Loi Li'olam Haba, that the principle is set aside for the person in the world to come. So Hashem is really giving us a blessing, and He's giving us a blessing for afterlife, so that the principle of all the mitzvahs that we do will remain with us. In the middle of the Parsha, you have the beginning of chapter 14. It starts off, Bonim atem Hashem Elokeichem. You are children to Hashem. Children to Hashem. Right? What does this mean? The Gemara says, Reb Meir says, Benkach u benkach kruyim l'cho bonim. Whether we serve Hashem, or even if, God forbid, we don't serve Hashem, we are still called children of Hashem. We, the Jewish nation, we have this power in us. We're princes and princesses. We belong to Hashem. We're a nation of Hashem. We are His children, kaviyachol, as it were. Right? Rebbe Nachman always points this out. Listen, you're human. If you're a human being, you have a tendency to do things wrong. It happens. Right? Even if you did wrong, Hashem still loves you. A friend of mine sums it up. He says, always think and know that you are Hashem's favorite only child. You are Hashem's favorite only child. You're an only child. Of course you're the favorite. But you're the favorite only child. You. There's how many Jews? Baruch Hashem, millions. Don't worry about the other guy. He's also Hashem's favorite only child. But we are Hashem's favorite only child. And we have to remember that. And we should act like princes. We should act like princesses. We should act morally. We should do things right. Further on in chapter 15, the Parsha speaks about tzedakah, what it means to give tzedakah, what it means to give charity. Just think, if I were to be judged by everything that I did, and I do things wrong, so how would I look in court? How would the judge look at me? How would Hashem look at me? All right? And yet, despite the things that I've done wrong, He still looks upon me charitably. When I give charity, I'm invoking the power of charity from Hashem, so that He should look upon me with more and greater charity than He did till now. He should be kind to me. He should be compassionate. He should give us all good health. He should give us all parnasa. He should give us all nachas from the children. Everything should be well. So may Hashem help us. May Hashem bless us, that everything goes right and we do things right. We should increase our doing of the performance of mitzvahs. We should understand that every mitzvah we do is a blessing and it brings blessing. And we can come close to Hashem by doing these mitzvahs. We could really feel like the prince or princess I am if I do the mitzvahs. And if I need a little help, give a little charity. If you give a little charity, you get a little bit more compassion. Give a lot of charity, then you really get the compassion. May Hashem help us that we merit to all these good things. Amen v'amen.